Hello everyone, welcome back to the Daggerwin Multifarm with Freddy. Apologies, my mic was a bit far away then. Today I thought I'd discuss something a little bit different. I had a nice time lapse yesterday of me moving around the farm and doing a lot of loading. But today I thought I'd talk purposefully about precision farming as it refers to the service, because there seems to be some confusion. I've been asked before and I forgot to do it at the time, to do a tutorial video on precision farming and how to understand it properly. So we'll start here on the map in the precision farming tab. It is the last tab on the map and has a subsection to it. So, soil types first. You've got no control over what the soil type is on your farm. It is preset by the map makers, by giants, and we've got 4 different types of soil: loamy sand, sandy loam, and silty clay. Now if you hover over each one once you've taken soil samples, you can see exactly what the yields on each one is. Now the best one by far is loam. Everybody wants loam. Mouse actually sit still for a sec. There we go. Yield potential 125%. Sandy loam, next one down at 100%. Silty clay at 89%. And loamy sand, the worst one, at 80%. So that's that. You've got obviously here as well soil sample taken. That's if you've taken soil samples from a field and haven't sent them off to the laboratory yet. Now everybody can do this and take their own soil samples using the in-game soil sample taker. I highly recommend doing it because it costs half the price of sending off for the soil data, because you can just click on the field and purchase soil information. So if you haven't got a great amount of time, do it that way, but it's going to cost you double what it would be to take the soil samples yourself. Okay, the other thing on this page is the environmental score, on the Invo score. This is vital to the farm. This is what gives you your environmental score bonuses or deductions. Now it can swing up to 10% in either direction, so you can have plus 10% or minus 10%. Depending on how well or how bad you're looking after your fields. Now, each field has its own score as well. So if we scroll in, there you can see field 43 we're doing quite well on at the moment, 77, 85, 86, 81, 88. So how do we boost this score? Well, you can see there underneath you've got the bars relevant to each one, and each one of these bars corresponds to this. So the problem on this field at the moment is nitrogen and pH. This figure changes every single harvest. So at the moment we have had a lot of soybeans on this field. So next we are going to put on some wheat onto this field because it requires nitrogen to boost the nitrogen value. Although soybeans don't need nitrogen under precision farming, they do need it. Now this field, unfortunately, you can see there the nitrogen and the tillage is bad. It's because this field after its harvest requires ploughing, but if we plough it, the popula that is planted on it just regrows and regrows. So we're going to take a bit of a hit on that. We understand that. 81 again, nitrogen and pH or lime is the big issue. Again, nitrogen, pH. Now this one, it's tillage. Tillage will be your ploughing, cultivating and all that, but it's got to be done once you own the field. This field's recently been purchased by us, so that's going to obviously change on the next harvest because I've currently got canola planted here. So that's your soil types breakdown as well as your environmental score. As I say, you can get up to 10%, but that's up in the 90 region. We're at 65 at the moment with a 5% bonus. That's good. We can be doing better. That's why I'm rotating the crops around, because this field next is going to become soybeans. That will start dropping the levels, then we can alternate and get the maximum out of it. This one has been predominantly a wheat field, currently soybeans, so that's going to drop again. We'll rotate it again. So, pH map. The first thing you can see here is there's different shades. The differences in shades, your soil sample information does not last forever. It runs out. So the darker it starts to shade, you're getting close to need to retake soil samples. When it goes black, you've no longer got soil information and you need to retake those soil samples, because otherwise you're not getting the correct data. You won't be putting down the right fertilizer, the right amount of lime and all that, because the data is out of date. So we can see the pH value 6.5 at 6.5, which is perfect. On the pH value, which is your lime, you want okay or perfect. You do not want anything less. Two reasons behind this. One, it keeps that pH value and your bar up high. The second one is the amount of lime that is getting put down. When you put down lime with the automatic application rate, when you keep that pH value high, you use less lime. So your lime trailer as well is going to cover more acres, meaning less refills, quicker turnaround, easier time. Now the amount of lime put down is relevant to the soil type that it is. This is why you can see the different colours. Blue is obviously a bit over. There is going to be oversprays in certain areas. You cannot help that. That is just, unfortunately, the way it is. You can see 7.5 out of 6.75 pH value is bad. That is not going to be helping. At the moment, I do not know how to resolve that myself. If you do know, please post in the comments. I'd love to know. Because at the moment, spreader on automatic application rate, even done by worker, we get this constantly. Don't get a lovely green field, which is what we would want to see. Obviously there's a bit of overlap into other fields because of the way the soil sample taker takes it. Not worried, because we're planning to expand at some point, or somebody will, and that will sort that out. So nitrogen or fertilizer. When you see it, that's quite a nice little field. It's not too bad. Not brilliant. This one, however, yipes. That is because that is the sort of map you can expect to see after using solid fertilizer. Because solid fertilizer does not spread particularly well. So you can see we've got some bad spots next to some great spots. That's because solid fertilizer through the spreaders just spreads, and it spreads at a consistent and solid rate. So you will get that. Although it's good, if you've got nothing else or your funds are low and you can't afford the spreader with all the upgrade parts, use that, because that is what you've got. Better some fertilizer than none. But if you have the sprayer with the pulse modulation, use that solely, because you will get that sort of level. It is a much better application rate across the entire field, because the pulse modulation will just spray in the areas it needs to, up to the level it needs to obtain perfect. It is quicker, it is more efficient. Although liquid fertilizer is more expensive than solid fertilizer, with the pulse modulation you use far less than solid fertilizer. Far less. So you'll actually end up saving money. It is well worth it. The same with the spot and spray with the herbicide for weeds. That thing is a game changer, because it will spray only the weeds it detects on the field if you're at that level. Obviously a hoe is the best one, gets rid of them no problem, But if it's reached the stage it's herbicide, use the spot and spray, because it will only spray on the relevant weeds that are in the field. Herbicide is heavily expensive, but with the spot and spray it literally targets that field. I could take our spot and spray sprayer and do this entire field in one tank comfortably. I'd probably have herbicide left over. It is that good. So that's that. Fertilising, and it will fertilise only to the crop level it needs to be. So I'm hovering here, it's red, which red should be bad, but because it is soybeans in this field, nitrogen level is perfect, because soybeans do not require it. They self nitrogen from the soil itself. Each crop has its own level of nitrogen it needs to obtain. So for example here, this is our canola field, requires 200 kilograms per hectare there. Our popular down here requires 180. So each crop has its own fertilizer level, its own nitrogen level that it needs to obtain for the perfect level of fertilization. So even though you can see up here nitrogen is currently 100 kilograms per hectare, requires 0, it's perfect because it's soybeans and they don't worry about it. Same as up here, soybeans again. I know all these fields are soybeans. There we go. So there you can see as well your expected yield 5.7 tons to the hectare. Down here again 5.7. Over here let's have a look at the loam area. We're expecting 123%, 8.6 tons to the hectare. That's going to be good when that comes in. So next one, yield map. Which gives you an overview on map wise what you're going to be expecting to see. If you haven't harvested before, it won't give you an expected yield. This is an extension to this field, so that's why we haven't got it. So this part has been harvested previous, this part is new and ploughed. When we do our first harvest there, that will fill in. The last one is the seed rate. Variable seed rates, high, standard, low. That's why everybody loves low seed rate. So seed cost is low, whereas here is high. It's what it is, you can't control it, but the information is there for you. So if we go down into the fields, we can see a lot of this information as well. Let me see it down in the bottom right corner. I'll just come up a little bit so you can see it a bit better there. So soil type, loam, pH value, your nitrogen, your expected yield and your potential yield. Come across here into our canola. You can see it again as I move around the field, and it will change. There we go, into the sandy loam, silty clay and loamy sand. So it will change constantly as you're moving around. It will tell you relevant information as well. Needs lime, which, yep, that bit will need lime after the next harvest. Our popular field down here, which has got heavily hail damaged, needs lime, needs ploughing, needs rolling. It wasn't done. There we can see the yields, relevant bits. To be fair, we'll probably redo this field after the next harvest. So there we go. Hope that was informative for people that aren't quite as familiar with precision farming. If you liked it and enjoyed it, let me know below. Give us a thumbs up. Until next time, I'll see you again soon.